Hi, my name is Corey Hood, and you should play D&D. Before I tell you why, there's two little disclaimers I want to make. The first one is when I say D&D, I don't mean 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons as released by Wizards of the Coast in 2014. No, I mean any tabletop role-playing game. There's Numenera, there's Vampire the Masquerade, there's everything. Everything that can fit your tastes. Every world you want to explore is out there. But it's not always going to be fun. And that's my second disclaimer. Because I'm not telling you you should play this game because it's always going to be fun. I'm telling you you should play this game because sometimes it's going to be fun. Because this game is like TV, it's like movies, it's like a play. Of course there are bad runs. I've played in them, I've run them. And they're there, but they're the minority. Because most of the time, you're sitting down with people that you love. You're escaping the world that is so unpleasant, especially now, to live in. You're learning to empathize with things that you never knew you could understand. And as hard as it looks from the outside when you watch people play games like these, it's not. Let's start with the empathy. When you play D&D, you have to make a character. Someone fantastical, a hero, a villain, a gray warrior that stands on the sunset, like with gunslingers from those old westerns. You can make anyone you want. But to really have fun, you have to make someone you'd hate. Someone you can't understand. Someone filled with internal conflict. The last character I made was a man named Butcher Wasp. A doctor, asked by his government to kill. A man who's taken the Hippocratic Oath. I'm not a doctor. I don't know what it's like to stitch people up to go to war, but I've been looking into it. I've been looking into what that takes from someone to fight in a war that you don't believe in. And it's terrible. Now, I wouldn't hate Butcher Wasp in real life, but I wouldn't be able to understand him. After I sit down and play for a little while, maybe I couldn't understand the real person, but I can understand the edges of them. I can learn to comprehend what it means to be in that position, the kind of decisions that he would be forced to make. That's what making a character is about. And everyone around you should hopefully do something similar, make a character that they couldn't understand. In a world as divided as the one we live in, it's important to do that. It's a medium that we're allowed to face prejudice through, even if it's fake, even if we can step away from the table. It's still important to look at, to stop and at least try to understand. And if nothing else, role-playing games allow us to put ourselves in someone else's shoes at a time where nothing is more important. But there's so many numbers. They look so hard to play. God, what am I, a computer? You really think I can do that? You don't have to anymore. These games aren't that hard anymore. This is the player's handbook for 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons. Yeah, it's big. It's 318 pages. This came out in 2014, according to their website, wizards.dnd.com. Here's the thing. If you go to that website, you'll also find free rules for the game. There may be 20 pages, if that. And neither this giant book nor those free rules, you're not supposed to read the whole thing. I've been playing this game for almost 10 years. I've never read this rule book from cover to cover. Of course, I've only been using this rule book for about 6 years, but still. That's not what it's built for. This isn't a novel. You're just supposed to jump around and take the parts you need. It's not hard to play. You find some fun dice, you roll them, and you add a few numbers, and that's not even most of the game. Most of the game is letting yourself be somebody else, somebody you could never be. We've been doing that since we were 5. You can get on the playground and say, "I'm Superman." It's not hard. I mean, it's not easy sometimes either. You have to make choices that you could never make. But it's not about the numbers. It's about the characters. It's about the story. It's about slaying the dragon. Not about arithmetic. And the rules are online, like I said. Even if they weren't, The man who built this game, who I talked about in my informative video, Gary Gygax, he said, the thing we never have to let the game masters know is they don't need rules. And it's true. But the rules provide a framework that help fit the game, like a camera in a movie. We don't need to talk about that, though. That's a whole deep, long discussion. So let's talk about that escapism I was talking about, because right now, trapped inside in quarantine, we need escapism. I need escapism. And this is the best kind. Exercise, I'm sure, is better for your body. A book, I'm sure, is better for your vocabulary. But there's nothing better for your empathy. There just isn't. You have to put yourself in someone else's shoes. You have to be able to understand what it means to be somebody else. And it helps that that somebody else can actually have an impact on this chaotic world we live in. It helps to step away from this world we live in, especially at a time like this. We need escapism. And this is escapism where you have real options. It's not like a video game screen where there's a list of choices. You don't fill in a bubble in D&D. You say, I want to persuade the senator that this is wrong. And you can. So you should play D&D. You should have that experience. And even if you don't like it, you'll have been able to say that you tried a thing that you didn't like. But you still tried it. As Will Wheaton said, play more games. In my own words, I love this game. I think you will too. This has been Corey Hood. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.